Going between Hollywood and Sheridan, Toyota of Hollywood.com, Joe.
All right, Woody, thank you so much. Always fun to head up to Jupiter and talk to Clayton McCullough, the Marlins manager. Skip, good morning, and thanks for being with us.
Of course, Joe. Good morning, man. Great to speak with you again.
Well, I'm glad to have you back. Hey, World Baseball Classic has been unbelievable. That Dominican-USA game a couple of nights ago was crazy good. You're getting some of your guys back, though. I always wonder, they played some serious, competitive, high-pressure games. How much does that help as they get set to come back to spring training?
I believe it helps. I mean, do you think for our players who were in that tournament, with Marcy having a chance for the Team Italy to go as far as they did, to play really highly competitive games in a pressure-packed environment, it feel like it bodes well. Because those are the types of games and environments that we are striving for. We want to be playing in those types of environments during the regular season, and then certainly the postseason has a very similar feel to that. So for the number of individuals we had that went and got a chance to go experience this tournament, many of them the first time, I think it just bodes well for them, and they got to really get some experience and some terrific repetitions in a pressure-packed environment. So Joe, I loved it, and we're excited. We got Sanoha still there going, so pulling for him, but also, it's nice to have our group mostly back here in camp as we get to the finish line.
Well, I got to tell you, Otto Lopez, I guess you couldn't keep him out of the lineup. He couldn't wait to get back and hits a friggin' home run. Oh, that's awesome.
I think he's just an underappreciated player, and I hope that this tournament, he's one that had a chance to do some really, what he does for us, we see all the time, the relay throw and pull play, the heads-up play, letting the pop-up drop and getting Bobby Witt out at second base, what he brings on both sides of the ball. For us, he's such an important member of our team, and I was happy for Otto that I think more of the world got to see him play and appreciate what we get a chance to see, every day with him.
So, Skip, another one we didn't get to know a lot about, and then he has a breakout tournament. Speaking of Canada, Owen Caissie, the outfielder, part of that trade with Cabrera. You get him, a young, good-looking player. Did you see signs of that before he had some breakout plays and at-bats with Canada?
Yeah, we certainly saw some signs of that early in camp. Even just through some of the work and the at-bats that he was taking. Tough to get a lot of it early on before those guys left. They're coming off the off season and trying to get some timing back in the games. And so, but he comes with an impressive, minor league track record of performance. And we weren't surprised by what he did in the tournament for Team Canada. And, we're just as excited now about Owen as we were when we acquired him.
All right, so I got to ask you, and I don't expect you to break any, earth-shattering news today, but you got to get this roster down. You got a lot of young guys. You guys got to make some tough. I know you already made one on Joe Mack, and by the way, what was that like for you to have to tell Joe Mack you're heading down?
Yeah, we do certainly. This is what this time of camp. Some of the conversations are difficult. The decisions are tough. That's a good thing. The decisions are tough because we feel like we have a lot of really high quality players, Joe, and we had a very talented camp. And the message was he did great. He showed he was terrific defensively. Him having a chance to catch a number of the pitchers that are going to start with us in Miami, or we certainly believe are going to impact us at some point this season. He handled himself very well. He got to spend a lot of intimate time around, myself and the rest of our coaching staff here. And there's still work to be done. There's work for Joe offensively as a very young player going back to AAA and, refining his approach, becoming a more consistent offensive presence. We know the power. We believe it's going to come. And just, him dialing in on a few things to make that, just show up with more regularity. And the ability is all there. We know that about Joe, and it's, as quick as he's ascended to where he's at, he's still always been very young for level. It's a demanding position. So Joe's time will come, and I just try to leave him with don't wait every day for that call to come. Just be where your feet are, continue to get better, and you're a very good player that we know is going to come up and help us at some point.
Yeah. Boy, you're right. That's a great message for him to know, like, hey, man, we're going to be watching everything you can do. Hey, so getting down to 26-player roster, how difficult is it going to be this year?
It's going to be very difficult. And we hope everyone stays healthy. Like, Joe, I hope these decisions at the end are, and they will be, incredibly difficult because we have talent and we have a healthy group as best we can be leaving camp. Unfortunately, Adam Major will miss the season, but for the most part, we're in a pretty good spot right now, which again does make these final decisions, on what our position player group and our rotation and bullpen very difficult. But I think that's a good thing for us. The more difficult decisions we have just means we have more high quality players that we're, trying to make a decision on for opening day. And we know we're going to need a whole lot of contributions from our roster throughout the season. And it doesn't diminish the importance of what the 26 look like opening day. So yeah, it'll be difficult, but in a lot of ways, it's a good thing for the Marlins.
It was amazing last year. Somebody get hurt. That was bad news, but you call somebody up and they go smoking hot for like 2 weeks. I mean, it was like nobody knew it, and they'd come in and so I'm thinking about all those guys that you had that didn't play a lot, didn't have a lot of major league experience, and that makes it even more difficult. How much you put in, not how they're hitting or playing right now, but the work that they did last year when they got their chances.
I think you definitely that plays a major part in these things. What's their track record been like? It's very easy either way to get swept up in a sample of whether it's pitching appearances in spring training or 40 to 50 plate appearances in spring training. Either way, man. Look at Kyle Stowers at spring training last year. Wasn't one to write home about, and he certainly had a remarkable season. And there were things that he was doing from a back quality standpoint, and things that he had done previously that we were holding on to. So we know there's going to be surprises. That's the great thing. I mean, Ronnie Enriquez last year wasn't someone that I think we were expecting to do what he did, and Alberto Hernandez. A long list of guys, and to this year there'll be surprises too, which is the beautiful part about it. Is our player development group does a phenomenal job with those that are down in our minor league system, preparing them for what's ahead and continuing to develop them. And we are trying to do the same thing with our crew in Miami. So we feel like we have a higher floor of talent organizationally now, and our job is just to continue to try to get as much as we can out of them and let performance dictate most of this.
Clayton, I got to ask you, speaking of Kyle Stowers, I know he's coming off a little hamstring there, so he's been out for a while and hasn't had, I'm sure, as many at-bats and much playing time as he would have liked. How's he doing? Will he be ready in the next 10 days?
Kyle should be ready. Yes, sorry. Kyle should be ready. Yes, he did. He had the hamstring setback, and he's felt great. We wanted to ensure that, rather have given him a couple extra days, whatever it took, with where we were in the calendar, to make sure this wasn't something that lingered. And during that time, as he was getting himself built back up to get into games, he was able to take live at bats on the backfields to try to, keep his timing or get his timing where he needed to be. And, he's been in a couple games. He's going to get a chance to play in, 3 or 4 more, plus have some at bats in Miami before our season starts. So, we still, even with the setback, Joe, we feel like, Kyle will be in a good position and ready to go opening day.
How about Graham Pauley? Speaking of that, is he going to be back pretty soon here?
Graham should be, yes. He's been on a throwing program. He threw across yesterday. We plan to get him into a game defensively this weekend. He's been able to take, DH at bats for the last couple of weeks, as well as getting the extra at bats on the backfields. Graham feels good. It was the same thing. Just more important that Graham was very comfortable with how his arm was feeling and responding with the throwing program put in place. Graham's such a talented defender, Joe. I mean, he's not going to forget how to throw. It was just more about ensuring that the health was there and we could build up some volume. And we feel like that the way he's trended, that he'll be in a good place when the season starts.
So I'm an old school guy, but I don't want to make it sound like I'm a grumpy old guy. But the 2 challenges on the strike zone coming up, I know you've had a chance to watch it from the minor leagues. I've had it around, and probably both challenges will be used later in the part of the game, and it'll be mostly, I'm guessing, the catcher and the hitter. How do you like it, and what do you expect it's going to look like, and how much will it help the game?
I think we're also going to realize how good the umpires are. I mean, even if there's 4 or 5 pitches a night challenge, I mean, there's guys are seeing, hundreds of pitches, and some of these misses we've seen in spring training, Joe, that get challenged. There's such a small fraction like the miss. It's incredible that, especially the top and bottom of the zone where, each hitter, it changes where the edges are more fixed. So I think the players having some say during the game with, maybe in moments that they do have an opportunity to challenge. And I think it's going to be good for the game. I think the fans are certainly going to enjoy it. There's a lot of, engagement there and excitement after, a call stands or it's overturned. So I do think it'll, have some impact, and the strategy that which, we'll use, and I'm sure, other teams have been kicking around this winter and during spring training, will be fluid and evolve as more information is gathered, and we'll have a strategy with our players that we'll go into the season with, and try to at least maximize the times at which we're going to use those challenges, and we'll figure out maybe which guys are better than others, or if our strategy needs to be amended based on just how things are going.
Clayton, I got to tell you, man, I can't wait to get this thing started. And boy, we'll be talking. Hopefully I get to talk to you again before it starts back up, but can't wait to see the guys back in Miami. Thank you so much for coming on this morning. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Joe. March 27th, can't get here soon enough for us. We're excited for that home opener with Sandy on the mound.
Hey, I agree, man. I'm with you on that. I can't wait. And what an opening night it's going to be for everybody. And thank you so much, Skip. Appreciate it very, very much. But, more on that. We got a lot of stuff coming up here